everyone, and welcome to the Best of 3 Call of Duty Esports Podcast. I'm your host, Josh. SalvationsElite. To my right is Bash _Bo3. And to our farthest right, per usual, is none other than Rex, ShadyNero. And this is a weird episode of the podcast this week. We've got the Super Week in the Call of Duty League. Of course, last week, we talked about a lot of the matchups that are currently going on, and we're going to be hopefully releasing this podcast a little bit earlier than normal, so at least we have a chance to at least listen to it a little bit before the matches start tomorrow or when you're listening to this right now. So before we get any of that, though, we got a lot to talk about with news and predictions and so much more. But before we get into it, boys, what's going on?
Well, Josh, I am feeling like a bottle of Purell.
Round 2.
Swimming around with some goldfish in it. And I'm like, why are these goldfish in the Purell? They're gonna die. And like, I see their gills just kind of like pulsating. I'm like, they gotta get out of there. So then I proceeded
these actual goldfish.
To take the Purell and just keep pressing down on it until all the Purell was gone. The goldfish are saved, maybe. I put them in my water cup, and let's hope for the best, guys.
When I was losing it. Wow, that's exciting, man. Sam, how are you feeling? Are you better than the goldfish and that's pulsating in the Purell?
Yeah, I'm doing
I just realized we're all wearing black, by the way, but you're doing all right?
Hey, nice. Yeah, I'm doing good.
Nice, dude.
Doing good. It's a Monday.
Yeah, let's go. It is. But yeah, it's been a weird week, obviously, with the weekend. We thought we were getting Call of Duty over the weekend, and that ended up not being the case. We did not get any COD, so it's been definitely weird. We got a lot to go over today, per usual. But you can listen on Apple Podcasts. You can listen on Spotify. You can watch on YouTube. You can drop a comment on YouTube, and you can drop a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. And guess what? We do read some of those around here. And today, we've got one from none other than Nips the Great. 5 stars. Rex's Nipples.
Yes.
This has to be the best Call of Duty Esports podcast, hands down. The guys are incredible and full of personality. The other podcasts on CoD Esports just don't compare.
Ooh.
Parentheses, no free shout-outs.
No free shout-outs.
No free shout-outs. Not at all. We do appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you, Rex's
My
Nipples.
man, Nips the Great.
Bro, you got some good nipples there, Rex.
Yeah, dude.
Have my nipples showed up on camera before and I didn't notice? Have I been nipping out?
The sad pog got pretty close for one of those, and at one point a shirt got pulled down pretty low on one of the intros, but
we're getting there.
We've had some close calls.
We're getting there.
Yeah, we're gonna get some Super Bowl moments. See, I mean,
we're getting even closer.
The tease.
I pulled it out, boys and girls.
You're just teasing at this point.
Wow, dude, that's crazy.
Man.
But man, we have a lot to talk about today. Of course, we normally do a quick question around here, and our quick question today is: who do you believe is the best hardpoint, the best S&D team, and the best control team?
Yeah. Did you not want to read the question off the doc at all? Or?
Oh, there's a question on the doc?
Yeah.
Oh.
All right, best hardpoint.
Yeah, Rex is the best hardpoint team, dude.
I mean, I still think, OpTic is pretty good at respawn.
Yeah.
And I have half a mind
Or
to
Dallas.
say it's OpTic. I mean, there's Dallas, but I don't know, man. And like, I don't like always buy into OpTic hype, but OpTic is kind of hype for Cold War. And their respawn has looked like rock solid. So I'm honestly saying OpTic might be the best hardpoint.
You know what's crazy is that OpTic probably should have won 3-1 versus FaZe. Probably could have, should have.
Abezy.
If it wasn't for Abezy.
Making huge plays on P3 and P4, yeah.
So like that kind of goes into like maybe I think OpTic is a better hardpoint team.
I mean, they didn't win.
No, they didn't win, but
they did win the first hardpoint.
They did. So I don't know.
And then S&D rolled around.
That's kind of I deal with FaZe and OpTic on that one. I think OpTic's going to be
well,
really
probably next weekend or so. This is kind of a teaser for next weekend because I'm sure we'll talk more about this. Maybe do a whole segment on like ranking teams in certain game modes. I would say OpTic as well, I think. Would you say OpTic?
I feel like I would say OpTic.
Yeah. I mean, it could be any of the three.
Kind of scary. Empire is really good though, too.
I know. That's the thing. We haven't had big enough sample size.
Here's the thing. Empire just lost to Rokkr, too, so it's like...
Yeah, I know. That's the problem.
So
That's the problem.
It's weird.
Yeah, not ideal. So I would definitely say OpTic. S&D?
S&D.
S&D? Is it FaZe?
How do you not say FaZe here?
I mean, it kind of feels like it is, but
I mean, yeah, probably FaZe.
If
But based off today's game, with the Ultra,
Maybe some people are thinking Rokkr with the best S&D team, which, I mean, after last weekend, that's possible.
yeah, why not?
And, we're not going to, we'll see him tomorrow. Yeah, we'll see him when this podcast is, tomorrow night against Seattle.
Mhm.
So, that's interesting. But, okay, so then, and then Control?
Control's a weird one.
Control's
man.
tough. Control's really, really tough. I lean FaZe, but
I must
I
say,
could see Dallas being really good at it.
it could be OpTic.
Yeah.
Sam,
I
want to go a three-way tie here?
want to go with Empire.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I do.
Dang. We're
I
leaving
do.
OpTic to dry and
Yeah.
Control. They've been looking good in Control, though.
Yeah, I'm just kind of throwing it out there, honestly.
Yeah.
I mean,
'Cause why not?
I see Empire being the better Control team in the future. They seem like they have the right stuff for it in the way they're so organized. I feel like they could be really good. They did lose that Control to Rokkr, so now that throws a lot of things in the air.
Yeah, for sure. So, all right. Well, I like that. So, with that
Yeah.
said, I think we can get right into our news of the week. Let's go.
The Call of Duty News of the Week.
What do you guys think about this, man? Lots of news of the week today. Actually, honestly,
I mean,
a little bit chiller of a week, to be honest.
it's been average.
No, not obviously. I mean, kind
A
of the
moderate
first thing we
amount.
can kind of bring
Yeah.
up is just, of course, I mean, the fact that everything was rescheduled, obviously.
Yes.
But you
It
all
was
know that
weird.
by now.
Yeah.
But that was pretty crazy. We didn't know exactly what was going to happen last week, and it finally happened. We're like, all right, well, we're getting a super week this week.
Yeah.
So the schedule's not ideal for any average working American dude.
Yeah.
Because it's like,
No.
Yeah.
you're missing a lot. It's not really ideal for technically anyone because it's like, the European side of things, they have for the late games that's like 1 a.m., 2 a.m.,
Yeah.
maybe later, probably later when they
Yeah.
finish. So not ideal for really anyone as a whole, but like, what are you going to do?
Mhm.
Not ideal. But yeah, so that's pretty interesting as a whole.
Yeah.
Let's start with the first piece of news that HYDRA secured his visa.
That's huge news.
Huge news. Probably some of the biggest news of the whole week was that HYDRA secured his visa
Mhm.
for
that's hype.
the United States, and within the next month or so should be in the United States again.
Everything
So,
going well, of course, hopefully.
of course, that is the conversation. I'm wearing the Subliners hoodie right now.
Yeah. So who does he replace?
Who takes the fat L there,
It's
I mean,
do you say Diamond Con?
I say it's ASIM. For sure it's ASIM.
Well, but what about Mac's performance in this last one?
I just feel like, though, like they're just going to be like, Mac has a higher ceiling.
based off their performances last year, it's possible.
I don't think it'll be Mac, but Mac played atrociously, but he has that value of at least he's been there already a year. He was super good, so at least they know he can be good.
Yeah.
Right.
It's either, but then Diamond Con has been showing up, but he's the new guy on the block, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like, who knows? Is HYDRA even going to get a starting spot in the first place?
I mean, do you think that it's already decided?
Oh, gosh, dude.
Like, no matter what happens the next few weeks, like, HYDRA would be in the starting lineup?
I feel like they
I
really
don't
wanted
know.
HYDRA. Like, they really wanted HYDRA on that team.
I think they do
know. I
too,
think so, too.
And Subliners promoted like the crap out of him.
Yeah.
But at least Clay and what they've been saying on stream is like, it's kind of at the time before even the league started, is that it was basically a battle between ASIM and HYDRA.
Right. So that's the thing. But like,
But then with Zuma,
but what if Mac just keeps playing terrible? But like, do you think that it is already like set in stone? Like that's the question. I don't know.
it could be up
I
in
mean,
the air,
they're going to
honestly.
give Mac a little more time, but I think
I agree.
ASIM's going to always sit in their pocket, and it's basically that team is, I feel like, going to end up being sort of a 5-man team in a way where they're going to be rotating out based on just who is playing bad. Maybe
Really?
they'll hit a solid spot. Like they're looking for their solid spot, which they haven't found. I don't
Yeah.
think anyone can say that they found that solid
Oh yeah,
spot.
definitely not. Not
So
yet.
I feel like they're gonna keep testing even during the league. Like at times, if like something's just not working, they're gonna throw ASIM in. ASIM's been around long enough that like they can do that, and so HYDRA's gonna have to be really, really good.
Yeah. Could be like an ultra situation where they just keep trying players and then they find the right core.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. Yeah. It's very possible.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll know more. I mean, again, they play London tomorrow on
Yeah.
Tuesday, so that'll be interesting. I mean, at the end of the day, it's like then they play Rokkr, then they play Dallas, so it's like that's like it's a little bit worrying moving forward. So that's why I
Yeah.
get a little hesitant. I mean, we'll know a lot more as this
Tough.
podcast goes along. Right. That's the biggest
Yeah.
question. There's so many questions right now. But that is big news either way. I lean that he would replace the Sim, but like, it's possible, depending on the meta. I mean, right now, like, it feels like the meta works with having DiamondCon, running the full-time 2 ARs. Most teams are doing that right now. So it's like, that's not really affecting the meta.
Absolutely. Yeah, no.
If the meta was opposite and you could run 3 SMGs, then maybe DiamondCon would be in the conversation. But I don't think he'd be even in the conversation, like, at all right now.
Yeah, I feel like he's
the thing is, he hasn't been the one that... he hasn't even been the weak one on the team yet.
No.
It's been Asim and it's been Mac.
Yeah.
Right. So, yeah, that's actually really, really interesting. So, definitely keep your eye on that one moving forward, to say the least. In other news, there was some hype around like what was happening with the WESTR team this week, which I mean we'll talk more about them in the little challengers conversation. But there was some hype around EUNITED and the potential of WESTR because they both like on the same day or so announced that they were going to have an announcement. The whole pre-announcement. The announcement of the announcement.
The
and so everyone's like,
esports announcement.
EUNITED's picking up, WESTR, but that was not the case.
Just a Gears team.
But hey.
That's cool.
And, people are assuming that WESTR is going to be some sort of like partnership type of announcement. Maybe it's an organization type thing, but not like a we are now that organization, more like maybe, we're partnering with that organization type situation. So we'll see. Keep your eye on that one moving forward. I would imagine they announce it. Do you think they announce it before the Elite Series finals?
Could be after.
Within the next 24 hours?
Because they're going to want to, whatever it is, they're going to want to have those eyes on it. And this is
that's why I think so
have
too.
the most amount of eyes for them. So it's either
good
sponsorship,
point.
whatever it is, it's the best for branding to do it before.
Good point.
Yeah, I think so too. That's actually really interesting. So we'll see what that is. I mean, maybe it's nothing, but it could be something.
Yeah.
No free shout outs, but Snakebite and Lottie started a podcast. Shout out.
That's awesome.
They're just chilling, talking like esports stuff. And, hey,
Two goats.
Couples goals, right?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I'm not crazy there, right? They're dating, right?
They sure are.
Okay.
Yeah.
They sure
Gotta
are.
know my esports tea,
Yeah, you really should.
I know. Then in other news, trophy system was nerfed, which was, good. Obviously, it's still dang powerful.
It
was barely nerfed, let's be honest. It was like barely nerfed. And it was supposed to do like less team damage.
I've died so many times from a trophy.
Oh, it's insane.
Me too.
It's insane.
Wild.
It happens literally almost every game. Like it feels like.
Yeah.
And then again, like I said, not a crazy news week. Other news: John's new team, Mox fellow Teskey in the challenger scene. So shout out. Any thoughts there?
I just hope John keeps rising up, man. I know people.
Rise up.
I know people are probably pretty low on him. Maybe Rex, you especially are pretty low on John.
I'm not low on John.
I
just don't think he deserved a starting spot right when he came back.
Oh my!
Hey,
Wow, we are adjusting here.
Yeah, we're adjusting the microphones, but no, I get what you're saying. I mean, again, like you were just dampening the hype a little bit on John off the rip.
Yeah. I mean, I expect John can possibly grow bigger. I think this team. I honestly like this team a lot. I think all these people who split off from their old teams, Fellow and Mox, to team up here, and they have Teskey, who is on, I believe, that Slammed squad.
Yep.
Who's been playing really, really well.
Who's split apart?
I think this could be a setup of like a lot of success here because
Also, Fellow deserves something. I like
Yeah.
Fellow, and he's been performing too. And he won freaking last year, so that says something.
Yeah, the
this
Triumph
seems
team.
like a solid team and consistent, and like they will stick together through like even hard times or like a little bit hard times.
Yeah, that Triumph team also, it's like trying out some new stuff too as well because they've been struggling a little bit too. Yeah, that's the thing. I don't know. I mean, shout out. I hope they dominate. Obviously all the teams are gunning for their spot in the Elite Series. So that's what you got to keep your eye on moving forward is the qualifiers for those.
Yeah.
And then other news: Havok competing in challengers.
Yeah, he's been pretty quiet.
Right. Yeah. Very quiet. Very quiet.
Kind of
No
unfortunate
offers,
for
maybe?
him.
I think he was like, that's what's weird is that, like he was just chilling like as a substitute on Mutineers.
Yeah,
just kind of
stock's not very high, so he probably couldn't get
after getting benched for
Mhm.
the whole squad.
Neptune.
So it's tough, but yeah, so nothing too crazy there as well. And then the last thing was like the potential of a Washington team in the CDL potentially.
Yeah. Apparently they want to do like an Overwatch and CDL thing, right?
Yeah. So
The Washington Justice.
yes. So yeah, Mark Ein was reported from the Esports Observer that he could be the next owner to operate both an Overwatch and CoD League franchise. Is their mutual interest around potentially expanding into the CDL to DC? So that's very, very possible as well, which would be pretty dope. I mean, DC makes a lot of sense, I think, as a whole for the CoD League. So that's not
Washington WESTR.
Oh, okay.
Maybe not WESTR at the end, but yeah.
I can get behind it.
Oh man, I feel like we would need to like start hearing about expansion teams like now, if they're going to do it like next year. What do you think?
I mean, maybe not. I think they could probably keep it under wrap
Until
probably till
later.
the end of the year. Right? I mean,
Probably.
Closer to champs at least. Maybe there'll be like
Probably.
announcements at champs or
I
something.
mean, at some point it would get leaked. I mean, realistically, probably.
Yeah.
But
yeah, it'll probably be leaked.
Man.
yeah, so that's the thing. I don't know. That'll be interesting. Like last time, I mean, when the CDL started getting leaked about like 6 months, 8 months before it happened. So,
Yeah.
you know, in theory, you could start hearing those rumors now, but maybe they're taking their time on it, you know?
Could be. Here's the hoping.
For sure. Because we definitely talked a lot about like which cities we like to see.
Yeah.
Just real quick, what's the top one on your guys' list? I think mine would probably be Boston.
Mm-hmm.
I think would be the top one on my list. Or Sydney, Australia, because that would be lit.
Sydney, Australia would be so cool.
That'd be so cool.
Kansas City.
Oh, okay.
I was thinking
Hometowns.
Kansas City as well.
Oh, wow.
Close to home. I mean,
Homers.
Lincoln, Nebraska.
Yeah, I mean, Omaha, you know.
Cornhuskers.
Like, come on now.
Yeah.
Bug Eaters.
The Bug Eaters.
Yeah.
Let's go.
That or an international. I would like to see a team in South America, to be honest.
Really?
Brazil.
Oh, Brazil would be hype. That would
I'd
be
love to see a
cool.
Brazil team.
That just feels pretty unrealistic, you know?
Probably, but it'd still be hype.
Oh, it'd be hype for sure. I could get behind that. That'd be sick. Yeah, Madrid would also make a lot of sense. I think that'd be pretty dope. Pretty like Barcelona, one of the two.
Yeah.
Would be pretty dope as well. But yeah. Well, let's talk challengers for a little bit here because again, I think today's overall gonna be a little bit shorter of a podcast than normal.
It's just very unfortunate, the timing.
But we wanted to keep it a little bit more snack-sized podcast this week just because of
The Super Week.
the Super Week with so much
games
Call of Duty on the line. I mean, literally, as you're listening to this, there are COD games today
It's
on a
crazy.
Tuesday, including and plus the Elite Series.
Elite Series too.
So it's like, my word, speaking of the Elite Series. Yeah, as a whole,
Let's hear it.
Challengers been pretty crazy. So the Elite Series has been going on. We had Cup 7 this weekend as well. And so we are heading into the Elite Series like qualifier match or the Elite Series knockout matches,
Yeah, it's weird.
which is
On
again
the 23rd, Tuesdays, yes.
yeah, so Tuesday night as you're listening to
bracket.
this is the knockout bracket, and then on
Yes.
Wednesday is the winners like semis and winners finals,
Yeah.
which is basically the finals.
Just determining the 1 through 4 placements.
Right. Yeah. So
and who gets to keep their spot? for the
yeah.
next
So
elite.
it probably is coming off extremely confusing. If you guys didn't catch our conversation with ILLeY Shift or our conversation previously, basically how it works is the top 8 challengers teams after the qualifiers, the top 8 teams from the qualifiers qualified for the Elite Series.
Yep.
They played 7 league play style matches the past 2 weeks or whatever, 2 weeks, and now we've got basically the finals heading into this weekend. So or the finals this week. So the bottom 2 teams have been officially relegated, which means they have to requalify for the Elite Series next week, and then the top 4 teams stay. Right? Top 2.
Top 4.
Top 4.
Top 4. I'm not going crazy. Top 4 teams stay.
Pretty sure.
Yeah, it's top 4.
And then they get put into the following season. The bottom 4, they're cut.
Relegated.
And so that's why the importance of the knockout matches tomorrow night is the winners stay.
Yes.
So that's pretty huge. So that's why you gotta watch, and it's gonna be dope as a whole, and you should definitely check it out. But yeah, so basically, so far we know that BBG
and
Mr. Minmaps have been relegated in the NA division, which is some tough stuff. I mean, what are your guys' thoughts on the NA scene so far?
I mean,
go for it. Sorry. It's weird. I wanted to mention, it seems like the Cups and the Elite Series are like almost opposites because
It's weird.
BBG, for you who don't know, just won Cup number 7.
In a wild grand finals. by the way. It was sick.
But they have been relegated from the Elite Series. So I don't know if it's more of like the top in the Elite Series aren't taking the Cups as serious because they can't get any pro points from it.
Gotta
They
be
can
something
still
like
get
that. They can still
no.
make money. They just can't get pro points.
Yeah. No money or money, no pro points. But then so it's like really weird And then I know like WESTR didn't even compete in this Cup number 7. So I just don't think they're taking it as seriously.
They got to get their pro scrims in, baby.
Yeah, exactly. So that's kind of interesting. But in terms of that, I don't know. I was kind of hoping to see Kismet and the squad kind of higher up there, but
Right.
you know,
Higher
they can
up
make a
there.
comeback and
Higher
qualify. I mean,
up there.
they can be cut or relegated.
Oh
but
yeah,
they can still
they
make
can
it
come
in the
back.
next elite.
Yeah,
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah, that was what was crazy. It's
Yeah.
like, I don't know. A little surprising.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. Like they were saying, like I don't know how much of a meme this was, but like they're saying like their composure was a problem. But this team is like made up of like veterans, so it's like why is composure a problem?
Yeah, literally.
I don't know. It's just the way it is, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, one conversation that we haven't had yet this year is like, what, like your opinions on these guys now, guys who were pro players last year on important teams throughout the season, and then they're struggling this year. Do you think that's more, do you think that's more, not struggling, but like they're in the mix, at least with some of the guys who were in the AMC in the past 2 years.
Yeah.
So it's like, do you think that that's more attributed to the competition in challengers or more attributed to like their talent or more attributed to like the playing with other pro players elevates all the players around them type situation? Like, where are you at with that conversation now that we've seen some of these pro players who were legitimately contributors on good teams and are winning teams at points last year struggling?
Yeah.
Or, in the mix, like I said.
I mean, for me, I feel like the Challengers is kind of just like a crazy pit. Like it really is just
The passion pit,
the
baby.
passion pit, really.
Shout out.
And like teams, one thing with when you're in the pro league CDL, like you've got a set team, and you're gonna be able to like get good practice, and like where you're kind of going. With the Challengers, it's kind of like a week by week. Like you don't know if it's the team's gonna split apart. You don't know what's gonna happen. Someone's gonna sketch on you. All this kind of stuff. So I don't know. Like I think it plays into it.
There's also the online and like cheating factors this
Online
season, which
thing's
is a
kinda
little,
weird.
little flukier.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Their skill might be bounce between games. Some players are better at certain games than others. So I don't know. I think it's like a combination of factors probably, but it definitely would suck to be considered like a pretty good player in the CDL 1 year, and then now you're in the passion pit. So
Yeah, that's the
feel for
thing.
those guys.
Thoughts, Rex?
I think like people in the amateur scene, and like they're not something to like laugh about. Like they can probably,
for sure.
if they were thrown into a pro match, they could probably maybe beat a pro team if
Hold
they get
their
the
own.
same amount of practice time.
Yeah.
So like seeing them doing like that, I'm not super down on them. I still think they can pull it back. I mean, if we're being completely honest, like these weren't like the elite of the elite players.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, that's what I think people are undervaluing how good Challengers teams can be.
Yeah, no, for sure. Like you just like wonder, like we need to somehow get to where like we're like the open bracket style of bring these Challengers teams on and play against the pro team just to like see how they stack up, because I think you're right. Some of these Challengers teams could definitely compete against these pro teams. So
Yeah.
I'd be curious to know like how many.
I mean, like on LAN, you would definitely tend to trust the pro players, the former pros more.
Yeah.
So that's definitely a factor at the end of the day. Hopefully, our webcam wasn't frozen for too long. By the way,
nice.
I didn't know. I don't know why the camera froze for a bit, but
Well.
either way, for you guys who are on YouTube, of course, audio people they had no clue.
Yeah, no.
So I guess that's kind of where my thought goes. Is like, okay, if we were on LAN, I would definitely give the edge to these guys, like in those important matches, and like in the 50-50s, with a little bit more pressure on the line.
Mm-hmm.
But it is pretty interesting. I mean, I think it's definitely like giving some validity to the amateur scene and like the talent that's there.
Mm-hmm.
And now that we finally saw so many of these guys head down to the amateur scene and struggle, it's like there's legit. I mean, we now know for a fact, and we already knew, but like for a fact, confirmed beyond all belief or all doubt that there's a lot of talent in the amateur scene.
Yes.
And that could compete at a pro level, especially if you put them with pro players. And we've seen that like guys can get there's certain guys that can get elevated to an unbelievable level when playing with significantly better teammates. And like some guys can utilize their teammates better than other guys, and that matters for the types of guys you're playing with. So it is pretty interesting. But anyway, that's kind of aside from the point.
Yeah.
It's kind of something that came to mind while we were talking about it, but I guess we don't really want to talk too much about it. And we can talk a little bit about maybe some of the prediction. I mean, inside the NA side, like, is there a team that you're definitely, I mean, the top, 2-3 teams, the top 4 teams are now WESTR, UT Crew, Subliners, Higher, top 4 right now. Thoughts on those guys, Rex?
I mean, I'm really interested in Subliners Academy. I want to see, because we were seeing them starting to really start getting a grip on things.
Right.
In the Elite Series, they're still good, but like now we've seen them have weakness. And WESTR is still really good, even though they didn't place well in Cup 6.
Yeah.
So I think I'm really interested to see where Subliners Academy goes from here. I'm going to keep looking at at least these top 4 teams, the players on those teams, to see the potential of them being picked up for the next year, or who's going to be staying consistent in this Elite Series. But yeah, I'm really interested in WESTR, Subliners Academy. Those are the 2 I'm really zoned in on the most.
Yeah, the winners of the Subliners Academy Maki match will play WESTR, and then the winner of the Higher Team Z match will play UT Crew. So, but right there, UT Crew, did beat WESTR in their match, but like
the only ones.
Yeah, and they were the only ones to beat them. So, UT Crew, if they wouldn't have lost previously, would have been the number 1 seed. But they lost to Team Z and Built by Gamers earlier. So it's been quite the roundabout in the amateur scene so far. And WESTR lost game 5 to them. Besides that, they were like 3-1, 3-1, 3-0, 3-2, 3-0, 3-0. So they've been pretty dang dominant so far. Thoughts, Sam?
Yeah, I would love to see a Team Z though.
That'd be sick. Make a run.
It'd be awesome. It'd be so cool.
I kind of see it happening.
Who knows? They could, have that full composure. Have the,
that'd be dope.
Those players have been in the CDL, and it's like, man, that'd be so cool. But you got to give the props to WESTR, and then also Subliners Academy too. I don't know. I feel like WESTR is kind of a dominant force here, so I'd expect them to get first, but you never know. Things could, teams that could just come on top. You never know.
That is very true. That's very true.
Absolutely true.
In the EU scene, quickly, like Orgless, Trainhard, Octane, and Connect 4, your top 4 teams. Orgless and Trainhard were both 5 and 2 on the week, or on the 2 weeks, or I guess in the Elite Series as a whole. I came in really confident about Singularity. I really thought they were going to turn up, and they struggled, man. They were 3 and 4 and barely sneaked out past getting relegated off the rip. So I'm really hoping they make a run here, but they have not looked good from the matches I've watched. I'm like, man, come on, man, what's going on here? Any thoughts on the EU scene as a whole?
I mean, we should talk about Hydra on Connect 4. Or what? He's on Trainhard, I mean.
Yeah.
And I'm just really interested to see how he's going to play, especially since they're going to be in that winner's bracket let's see how good he is right before he comes. Like, this is the best opportunity to see him playing before he ends up in America again, like playing hopefully pro. So like, I'm going to really want to watch the Trainhard Esports games coming up.
Yeah, that's going to be blessed.
Where was I going with this? Oh, Afro's team, House Tarth, they were relegated.
I know.
That's kind of crazy. No one really thought that was going to happen. At least I didn't think that was going to happen.
No, definitely not.
And Afro, we know, it's kind of like, if not the number 1 most like looked at person in the pro scene, like everyone knows who that is on the EU side.
That's why he was signed by London,
By London. So, and for him to be relegated is kind of like, a smirch or a smudge on his shoulder, maybe a little bit, but
yeah, for sure.
Man, it'd be so cool to see the Spaniard team, the Rams. Cool.
Yes, I want to see that run.
That'd be such a sick run. Joe, remember Joe?
Yeah, dude.
I just like
shout out Joe, man.
World War II, man. I feel like World War II Joe was actually like pretty decent.
He was, bro.
Yeah, he was
Red
great.
Reserve.
Yeah, Red Reserve. They're awesome. I haven't seen him in so long. It's like it'd be cool to see him kind of back in the scene as well. I know he was coaching for
last year.
Last year. So that's cool. Of course, I like it. It's just funny to me, like just Hicksy's gain, the BB Connor's Callum Hicksy,
yes.
like just from
Just after Nubsy and how he laughed about it so much.
It's so weird. But yeah, that would be sick. I feel like all these teams could, like, it would be really cool to see any of these teams win in the EU side. So
yeah.
I think it'll just be like a great series of games though tomorrow. So, or today, if you're watching today.
For sure. Yeah. 100%. Yeah. So again, we'll talk a lot more about the results of this next week, I think, because we're definitely going to be watching this and having a good time tomorrow on it. So definitely watch it with us. Find us in the chats, of the events, and shout out. We'll see you there. With that said, I think we can take us right into these predictions. Pretty short overall news segment today, but we're going to be going through all the matches this upcoming weekend, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, the matches we haven't covered yet, and go through them all. So without further ado, boys, let's talk about who's the best in the game. Some very spicy meatballs on this plate of delicious spaghetti Call of Duty.
Wow, that was like a
what an analogy.
I'm hungry, man.
Yeah. These are like some nice sausage, Italian sausage meatballs.
Okay,
just some real
Italiano
nice
sausage.
Exactly that. So, off the rip. We've got, like I said, the spiciest of spice.
Yeah.
We've got the Atlanta versus Florida match.
Yep.
That's some spice.
Very spicy.
What?
Spicy. Very spicy.
We're just going to go through it.
Oh, no.
Let's all do Italian accents the whole time.
But come on, New Yorker, bro. You should got this one down. Yeah, come on, man. But, I mean, thoughts on this Florida-Atlanta match on the rip? I mean, there's a lot to go over this one. I mean, again, we saw Florida look pretty good today.
Yesterday,
if you're watching on Tuesday.
Yeah.
On Monday.
Are you confused?
So are we. No, yeah.
They played on Monday.
Yes.
So thoughts on this matchup as a whole. Rex, fire away.
I mean, I think it's going to end up being FaZe 3-2.
Ooh, game 5, huh?
I do think it's going to go to game 5, and obviously I think FaZe will be the stronger S&D team against the Mutineers. I think they're going to win it.
Interesting.
I also think they're going to win the hard points. Mutineers might win a control. And I think they could also take a hard point depending on what map they get.
Interesting. I think this might be like a...
You buying into FaZe here?
Do I say... no, 3-1.
Yeah. It's tempting to go 3-0, but I mean, again...
3-0? No.
The Mutineers, they came out and looked, a little shaky in that first hardpoint today.
They did.
Against against LAG. But again, that was on Crossroads, and we apparently Crossroads is just LAG's map.
I guess so. Yeah.
And they were getting out rotated, just getting just playing some really bad Call of Duty as a whole. Shout out Silly rocking the zebra camo.
Yeah, that was great.
That was lit. They were looking dangerous, Silly, impressive, rocking that zebra camo.
Yeah.
And I don't know. That's where I was I'm a little hesitant, but then Mutineers came out. They played a pretty impressive Miami S&D as a whole. And then they played a really impressive Garrison that I thought was really, really nice. I mean, Vivid flashed at point. Silly had a tough go as a whole, and Slack looked really, really good in that Garrison match.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and there's something to say that. Never mind.
There's nothing to
what
say
happened there?
I was literally the biggest brain fart. I was like.
That's one of the lowest moments of our whole podcast.
Holy crap. I was going to say Toronto Ultra 3-1 Mutineers, thinking that Toronto Ultra was LAG.
Oh, yeah, tough.
And then FaZe. Dude, there was so much brain fartage there. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, but I mean, that game, the control went to a game 5, and then Mutineers looked really, 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 really good in that hard point on Garrison as well. So, I don't know. This looked more like the LAG, the Florida team we expected to see,
Wait, I was right. I'm so sorry. It wasn't a brain fart. Toronto Ultra 3-1 Florida opening weekend.
Yes.
FaZe 3-1 them today.
Oh,
yesterday.
that's what you're saying.
That's what I was going for.
I see.
Sorry about that, folks.
There we go. That makes more sense.
Yes. So it would appear that FaZe is the
the heavy
Much more
favorite. But again,
dominant favorite.
I do think that, I mean, this, would you both agree that the Mutineers we saw today
look
like a
way
much better
Yes.
put together team than they
Yes.
did previously? At least
Yes.
that's what I got the vibe of.
Yeah,
For sure. I mean,
I'd say
Sky's
so.
actually played today. So.
Yeah. Oh, shout out, by the
points.
way.
Yes.
Mr. 25 points on Draft Buff.
Yeah, wow.
And he came through clutch, 97 fantasy points today.
What a steal.
So, I mean, he does have he does have a match,
He
you know,
does,
a
yes.
pretty tough one here against FaZe. So we'll
Yeah.
see.
And in Draft Buff, I'm third on that.
Okay, mister. All right. You
third.
know,
He'll drop down to like
I've only got,
I'm killing it, right?
could you imagine like he ends up finishing like 900?
I know.
I'm third out of like 1,000 people.
It's like, oh shoot.
Yeah, but you know, only 2 matches today. Most people haven't even played their teams yet. But anyway, yeah. So you're officially going FaZe
3-1.
3-1?
FaZe, yes. Yeah.
I mean, I'd be pretty surprised if Mutineers won. This is a revenge game for the FaZe.
Yeah.
This is the narrative of the revenge game.
Mm-hmm.
They're gonna be coming out guns a blazing, trying to
The
get their.
Mutineers gonna be coming out guns a blazing.
Oh no, for sure. This match is huge for the standings in their side.
Mutineers only lost the first map against LAG because they might have been going in underestimating LAG and just not giving them enough credit, but they're not going to be doing that against FaZe.
True.
So I think they're really going to come out with a lot more heat than we saw today. And then after the first hard point, you saw Mutineers kind of start taking over.
For sure.
So I think this FaZe one is going to be even closer, just because Mutineers are probably been preparing more so for FaZe than they have been for Guerillas.
Right. Yeah, I think 3-1 makes a lot of sense here because it's like, you know, you look back, this could be a 3-0. It could be a 3-0, but I'll give the Mutineers the benefit of the doubt and find one map there. So I'll go 3-1 officially. The question is just like, you know, in the kickoff event, again, thinking back to like, over a month ago now, or about a month ago, that, you know, Mutineers only won the series because they won both S&Ds on the new meta, blah, blah, blah. I've talked about this multiple times now at this point. But, and then you look last week, FaZe looked pretty dang good. I mean, they looked really, really good as a whole against a really, really good OpTic team. And then you're like, I mean, Mutineers, questionable. You know, so as a whole, it's like, I'm thinking 3-0, 3-1 here. I'll lean 3-1 with the Mutineers pick moving forward.
But is Mutineers S&D as bad as that OpTic S&D was?
I don't know. That's the question.
Mutineers S&D is better.
I mean, I agree.
Possibly.
It's probably better. It's probably better.
And they just saw Ultra playing S&D versus FaZe, where I know they still lost, but they got like the first 4 rounds without FaZe scoring, and they did it in like such a particular way that like people can really review that and I think use that against FaZe. Ultra was just so passive.
True. Yeah. Side note, what I was gonna probably do learn from the pros about the Ultra, because like that so at least some of that, because like some of the patience in the S&D. It was really interesting watching the S&D, by the way, because it was like very like distinct like styles of how you play search and destroy. And at first FaZe was getting caught off guard by the slow play of the Ultra, and then FaZe started making the adjustments and then started clicking.
Yeah.
And that's what makes FaZe a really good team.
Yeah.
That they can adapt like that. Like they're not just hard stuck onto one thing.
Right. Like, yeah.
But Mutineers, I don't think is either. I think Mutineers is going to be able to adapt back with FaZe.
True. I mean,
that's a big weekness that FaZe has.
We're going to
see
see.
Mutineers can go against them.
Again, it's tough with our predictions right now because, you know, we're basing off of all the information that we currently have. We're like, you know, tomorrow, the first match of the day is Florida versus Paris.
Yes.
So we could learn something in that game about Florida, you know, like that's possible. So there are a few like tough things with making the predictions for these Thursday matches without currently having all the predictions or having all the information that we might have, you know, by Wednesday night or something. But for now, it's like, I think you have to go, you know, you have to go FaZe at this point.
Yeah.
I'm going to go FaZe 3-1 officially, but 3-0 is not the craziest thing ever.
Yeah.
All right, London versus LA Thieves. What do you believe about London?
Man.
Rex?
Honestly, I mean, I want to give London a little bit more benefit of the doubt. Part of me wants to say it's going to be LA Thieves 3-0, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to give London another chance here. I'm going to go LA Thieves 3-1.
Okay.
Okay. I'm going to give LA Thieves more credit. I don't know why. I just don't want to give them that credit, but I am going to give them that credit.
People were mad last week.
Okay. Either way, I'm going to give LA Thieves a little more credit.
No, but I felt like people were unrealistically mad at like our hate for LA Thieves. I don't think any of us hate LA Thieves.
No.
No.
It was that it was like 4 or 5 people.
Yeah.
Again, it's it is what it is. But yeah, I definitely don't hate LA Thieves. I actually really like this team a lot. My question that comes to mind for this match is just like, where are they at? Where are they at in S&D versus London?
Yeah.
But I don't think
S&D.
it's gonna matter.
Yeah.
Thoughts?
May not. For sure, London's taking 1 S&D. I think that's
You think?
I think so.
Really?
But LA Thieves just might be too dominant in the respawn category. I don't know. I feel like London, if they're going to be a really good team, they have a lot of chemistry to build and a lot of work to do. Where I think LA Thieves already has that. And like if Kenny and TJ are going off again, that's dangerous. Like that's just scary. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I think for me this is gonna be an LA Thieves 3-1. So I don't know. I really do want Parasite to succeed. I just don't know if this team is built around that.
It doesn't feel right. Something feels off.
Yeah.
But
well, Shawnee and Parasite on the same team is what trips me out about the whole dynamic.
yeah, you're forcing Parasite to run in a 74U half the time.
Mhm.
It feels wrong.
Yeah.
But I mean, again, right now there is basically a 2AR meta. The XM4 is nasty, so it's like, it works. I mean, at this point, I don't think that's really like a problem for their team, though. That's the thing. So like, if it's not working, I don't know. It doesn't feel good either way. I'm actually gonna go. I'm gonna go LA Thieves 3-0. I'm gonna go LA Thieves 3-0 and buy into this team right here, at least for this matchup, at the least here, and see what we can do.
I'm about ready to buy into them, but I'm gonna wait one more series here, see how they play against London.
Yeah, that's
might
reasonable.
Be sold.
I truly want to see if TJ can be that like consistent because
He showed some of it.
Exactly.
Because then that changes the game. If TJ is being consistent, that changes the game for this team. So
For sure.
That's gonna be scary.
I mean, we were kind of waiting to see how this would play out between Kenny and Tej and like what that dynamic would look like.
Yeah.
And they were like significantly more impressive than I thought they were. I thought they would be as a whole, especially Tej. So
I thought
I
it'd be
agree.
a little more growing period going on with them, but they seem to have kind of just like popped off, gotten themselves
clicked
like a
right into gear.
fourth, like a power ranking of like 5 or 4.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're right up there with like the Rokkr, and then they beat the Rokkr after, and then the Rokkr beat Dallas. So those are the question marks you have to go into it with. But you're like, I don't know, man. It feels like they might be onto something here. So, yeah, I'll take LA Thieves 3-0, honestly. So that sends us into Toronto versus Paris matchup. This is interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. It's like you at this point have to buy into Paris. Do you buy in, Sam?
The Paris, not yet. Toronto, I do for sure, 100%.
Even after a tough series today.
Yeah, I don't. Oh, gosh, Paris has the potential to shock the world.
I agree.
Gosh, but then Skrapz is that X factor, man.
Yeah, I mean at this point it's like Toronto. They lost 3-1 to debatably the best team in the game.
Yes.
And at the end of the day, they took a hard point. It was they had the edge in S&D for a while. So I'm not gonna dock Ultra too hard because I really, really, really liked how they played in that series. Like I said, I was taking notes during it and like.
Lost by 3 the hard point.
I had so many good things to say about how Toronto played in that series. And I was watching this whole thing and I'm like, man, FaZe just made some insanely nice rotations that's what the great teams do. And they just kind of got outclassed at the end of the day. So that's kind of where my head goes with it, that, as a whole, I still think Toronto's a pretty dang good team.
And Bance, man, I just did not think
he looked good.
He might be consistent.
I just did not think like he would show up like this, man. That's like holy cow.
He's been legit.
He's been legit.
And he was good against FaZe today. So it's like, yeah, I agree. So I'm gonna go. Is
it this 3-0?
I'll give him a 3-1. I'll go Ultra 3-1.
I think I've done too many 3-1s. This is gonna be a 3-0 Toronto. I think this is gonna be a 3-0 Toronto.
Really? Again, that's not crazy, but
I'm gonna go Toronto 3-1.
Yeah.
Like Toronto is like one of those teams, like it feels like they're so prepared for every matchup that like they're just a brick wall for whoever they play against. And Paris is probably the team that I'm assuming will have researched the least.
Mhm.
Right.
So that maybe that's how Paris sneaks a win out. That's my guess, at least.
Yeah, Toronto's really.
Don't tell me when, what mode, but Paris will do it.
Toronto's
They'll get
really a
one.
good matchup for anyone. Like it's weird. Like
They are.
they can match up against anyone. But
But you don't feel great about
but
them.
But then they could lose to anyone.
Yeah,
you know? So
yeah.
it's like, who's this team? But
That first hard point, though, by the way, that FaZe Ultra match was
Yeah,
nuts.
it was crazy.
That was crazy.
Yeah.
The little FaZe, like they all collapsed on the hill at the end.
It was
all 4 different entrances.
I thought for sure.
'Cause of the spawn.
Yeah. This is the raid hard point, by the way.
Yeah, the raid hard point.
I thought for sure that was Toronto's.
That was crazy.
It was crazy. And then FaZe just collapsed so perfectly. I was like, holy cow.
After FaZe held the P3 basketball hill,
Yeah.
like that's a really good hold. I'm like,
Oh,
wow.
it
And
was
then Toronto
huge.
came back and held a great P4, and
Yeah.
you're like, oh my word, they're gonna do it.
Yeah.
They're gonna do it. And then FaZe comes in, breaks it
I
right
was
at
like,
the end.
oh
Like,
my word.
With the
it
that
was
was just-
crazy.
It was just like
the collapse was impeccable.
Yeah, that's a S tier team right there. Like,
Yeah.
wow.
It's insane.
Cool.
But the S&D was really good from Toronto, man. It
Mhm.
was. I was really, really impressed with it. So that's my worry is like Paris. It's like, what map did they take? Paris has looked pretty good in control. So
Mhm.
I could see him snagging a control, and Ultra did not look by any means good in the control they
Yeah.
played against FaZe. They got 3-0'd in that control match. So I'll go, like I said, 3-1 for that one. New York versus Dallas. Hooray.
Yeah.
Sam, this is a New York 3-0 here, right?
I mean, Dallas 3-0. I mean, like, I don't know. Dallas is there. New York has a lot of building up to do.
Right.
I just don't know if what would they take? What map would they take off of them? Control?
S&D. I think S&D.
S&D?
It would have to be an S. I don't even know what. Like control, sure, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that seems impossible. I'll be honest.
But
I don't know.
S&D, because Shotzi's kind of weak in it right now, would make sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, S&D makes the most sense, but it's like I'm not going to give them the benefit of the doubt at this point. I'll take
Yeah.
Dallas 3-0 as
Yeah.
well. Feels pretty
Hurts my soul.
straightforward.
And I'm doing it as well. Dallas 3-0.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're all perfectly aligned right now on our team picks. There hasn't been too many
Yeah.
like tight matchups so
Yeah.
far.
Let's get Hydra in the equation, get some practice in, and then let's see what happens. But as of right now,
Yeah,
don't know.
yeah. I mean, I still think the New York team's really, really interesting, but it's just hard to see it going any other way. It's just like this is more about how good Dallas I think is.
yes.
And again, they lost to the Rokkr, but like that, if anything, that might be a wake up call. Like you're not invincible, and
Yeah.
they'll come out here, and I think they're gonna play some really, really good COD this weekend, leading into the first major. So it's like it's crazy. So Atlanta versus Paris. Rex,
3-0.
thoughts on this
Atlanta
one?
3-0.
Oh, you already have it in there, don't you?
Yeah, I'm going Atlanta 3-0 on this one. I think for obvious reasons. Atlanta's super, super good. Paris has some work to do. I for some reason, I feel like this is going to be a mystical one, and Paris is somehow going to snag a map, and it's going to be super hype. But
Did
Yeah.
either of you catch Atlanta? What did Miles say? It was something like along the lines of a twosome about
Uh-oh.
it was about it was
Yeah.
it was Simp and Abezy. It was something like a
when they were flanking,
what was it? I can't remember. But anyway, I was like, what did you say?
like the destructive duo or like double trouble or something like that? Or...
No, I don't know, but that's something that you would
Some
say.
weird-
But anyway,
okay. Yeah. Good old Miles.
Atlanta 3-0 is what you got,
Yeah.
Sam?
Yeah. I mean, there's like, oh gosh, it's hard. Like Paris isn't bad, but Atlanta is
Where's
just
the
so
opportunity
good.
here?
I
That's the
know.
question. It's like it would be a fluky. It'd have to be fluky.
Very fluky.
And so, what's the mystical map percentage ratios here?
So basically, it's like that one team where like you're like they're just gonna get crushed, but somehow they are gonna eke out a win, like on a map, or they're gonna eke out a series somehow, just because they are who they are. Paris is that.
Paris
team.
is the highest there.
Paris is definitely on the highest on the mystical map percentage ratio.
I want to see the power rankings of the mystical map percentage ratio
Yes, that'd
from
be amazing.
ShadyNero.
That'd be great.
I think Toronto's on there.
Okay.
They have a lower mystical map percentage ratio, but like still higher than most other teams.
Okay. See, but doesn't
Seattle.
But like baked into the mystical map percentage ratio means
Means you're
it
terrible.
has to be mystical.
means you're pretty bad.
Yeah, exactly. It has to be mystical. So obviously, it's like Empire doesn't have a lot. But like Paris is like, it's true for Paris. Like it's very true.
It's pretty much the reverse power rankings.
It's the reverse
Let's say this. We got like let me find something like Seattle versus Atlanta and Paris versus Atlanta. Let's say like in both universes we're like that's a 3-0 both sides.
Right.
But Paris is that team that has a higher mystical map percentage ratio in my mind. That they'd be the one to eke out an extra map win because they are who they are.
Yo, statisticians out there, all you analytics pages, I want to see the mystical map percentage ratios. Let's go.
I want to see that on the page.
What would the actual stat look like? It'd have to be like looking off betting websites, the teams that are like favored to get 3-0'd, but then don't get 3-0'd the most.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you have to
There's your formula.
You have to be favored to get 3-0'd to be qualified for the formula.
For the mystical map percentage ratio.
Yeah. 100%. Which
Very
basically qualifies the most
very
underrated
complex.
team.
I know.
So just trust
Trust
us.
me.
Trust.
Yeah.
Don't
I
go
did the
look it
work.
up.
Loyal salesman.
I
Don't
did
go
the
look it
math
up.
for it.
We're fine. Just trust.
Just trust me. There's a
Just
lot of
trust.
vitamins in
Paris
this.
is the highest
It's
mystical
really
map
good
percentage
for you.
ratio.
I love it. London versus Minnesota.
Now, see, this could be an interesting map.
You think?
Minnesota is probably favored here, obviously.
Okay.
But I don't know, man. What if Priesta isn't on his game,
True.
which he has been the most consistent
Again, this is what we
player.
said last week. What if he just is gone?
Yeah.
If they're playing a 3v4.
Okay.
Right back to last week.
What if any player's just gone?
But it's possible. You know?
I don't know.
Priest has thrown up during a tournament
He
before.
has.
That's tough.
Yeah, that is tough.
Yeah.
Man, you do favor Minnesota pretty heavily here.
Yeah.
Gosh, do I just do a 3-1 again? I feel like I've done too many 3-1s here, boys.
Not before me.
Oh,
I'm going
jeez.
Minnesota 3-1 also.
I think I'm gonna buy into this one. I think I'm gonna go Minnesota 3-0. Minnesota
Dude, you have a
3-0.
lot of 3-0.
Yeah, lots of 3-0s. It's been a wild weekend of 3-0s so far, apparently.
We might
I
have to go through this again, and because I might want to make some switches, because like there's gonna be upsets. I feel like.
Yeah, I know, but that's what makes it so tough is that we're predicting it before we see more of these matches.
know.
But that's what is so crazy and so super about Call of Duty Super Week. You know?
I have some faith in London.
Oh,
Minnesota 3-2. So Minnesota still wins. But
Mhm.
I don't know. Maybe London takes the S&D takes control.
maybe they do.
Yeah.
Why would they do that?
London has a higher mystical map percentage ratio, and makes sense.
Oh my gosh. I can see Parasite's expertise here in search.
But it's just like Minnesota's look so good in S&D, and then they beat Dallas in a hard point.
They beat Dallas.
They beat Dallas as a whole. Yeah,
Mhm.
so that does that. I feel like that does matter.
They get 3-1 by LA Thieves.
But the consistency of Minnesota, whereas
I'm sorry, they
that's
did
what
not
I'm
beat
saying.
Dallas in a hard point. They won the control.
Yeah.
They won the Garrison control 3-2.
They get 3-1 by Thieves. So it's like they're not the most consistent team.
No, they're definitely not. You
Mhm.
can't just base them off their one match against Dallas because they did lose to the Thieves. But
Yeah.
that's the question mark. So the 3-1 is not crazy by any means.
The 3-2 is crazy though.
Oh, 3-2 is like some psychopathic tendencies here. Yeah. That's wild. I can't believe you, to be honest.
Oh, man.
We need to figure out, listeners out there, you the loyal ones that are here right now, because I know you guys, whoever's listening right now is the loyal ones,
Mhm.
and we love you.
Yeah.
We need to figure out a good betting system so we can have friendly wagers against each other,
Mm.
and then have to actually pay them out.
Mm.
I want to have a
talking-
drop where I press it, and that means we are now just bet against each other for whatever random map or player or random thing it is.
Are we talking monetary or are we talking about like
it could be anything.
punishments?
Like I know I've seen some things do like water bets where you like throw water on the other person.
Wow, that would suck.
And then you have to do the podcast wet.
Wow.
But like I would rather not do that,
No,
you know?
yeah, that would be bad.
Especially half the year when it's 40 degrees or less outside.
And we got technology.
Technology.
Yeah,
We're in my room.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Any ideas for other other Jello shots? Lots of Jello shots.
How about
Someone has to do the podcast drunk or something.
Jeez.
It's
All right,
me
that
every
would go.
week.
That would go.
Me every week. We're demonetized. No.
Black Censor
bleep
Bar.
Beep. This podcast is going off the rails. It's going off the rails. This is what we get
Maybe
for
we're
uploading this one at 10 a.m. Maybe
all
We were
drunk.
talking about debaucherous things and it took over.
yeah.
No, what we should do is like guess who's the drunk one.
Every single episode,
Every
one of us
is drunk.
It's not me. Trust
I
me.
swear.
I
That'd be
swear
kinda
it's
funny.
not me. Okay.
All right, poll guys.
Or maybe
who
it's
was
like,
drunk?
right before we press record, one of us has to take like 5 shots. And then by the end,
At the end,
it's
something's
just
happening.
mayhem, you know? But at the beginning, it's hard to tell.
That's pretty good. You never know.
Yeah. That's a fun twist. So there's one of you guys out there. Legal age, of course.
Legal, yeah.
Because,
21 plus.
but yeah. So I don't know. We need to figure out a fun little wager.
Yeah, I'm down, honestly.
So we need to get that figured out very quick here.
Yeah.
Anyway, Minnesota 3-0. I'm going to stick with it because why not? But it
Okay.
could be a 3-1.
Yeah.
LAG versus Toronto.
Hmm.
Again, I mean, Toronto's playing Paris
Mm-hmm.
and LAG.
Are you bought into to Toronto?
I'm bought into them as at least a top 6 team right
Yeah.
now. I mean, for sure.
I would agree.
I mean, at least so far, you know, it's like it's tough for me. I really, 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 really like Toronto's S&D.
Mm-hmm.
I think LAG wins the control.
Mm-hmm.
Hard points are toss-ups.
Yeah.
Toronto wins the close ones though. 3-2, baby.
3-2. Okay.
Toronto 3-2.
Yeah.
That's a pretty good guess. I was thinking also Toronto 3-2, but I'm wondering if I'm undervaluing Toronto because they have been putting up really, really good fights against these great teams.
And if LJ doesn't get Crossroad Hardpoint,
No crossroad
Right,
hard
and
point.
we haven't even seen like pretty much. I don't think we've seen Cammy and Kleenex really show up like we know they can. And this seems like a match where Cammy and Kleenex could really just start shining.
Oh yeah, this is probably the toughest map count to predict out of all of our matches so far. There's a world where you could create a narrative where this is a 3-0. I think some people could craft some sort of LAG narrative in here.
For sure. I went down that route already. I was already thinking it, but
yeah.
I'm not gonna do it. But I don't think that's impossible.
Yeah.
Because Apathy, he goes donk mode once, one map. It's like, oh,
He didn't do it
that's
today.
it.
There was no
No,
donk
wow.
app today.
There was
That's
no donk mode today, but
very
it's hard to go
unfortunate.
donk when you got the terrible 2s over there. So
He's got a terrible 2 of his own.
Oh my gosh. Oh my word.
He's got a kid of his
kid,
own.
like-
yeah.
oh
That's
yeah,
a-
yeah.
He already
But-
has one tiny terror.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm going Toronto 3-1.
Oh, wow. Josh is the drunk one, by the way.
No. No.
Pukes on his mic.
Sam.
I think Toronto 3-1. But that's kind of like more of like an average out because really, you're right. This could go so many different ways.
Yeah, you little.
And
Puss
how well is
puss.
Toronto prepared for LAG? That's my question.
I feel like Toronto has to have a bad day if LG is going to win, and LG has to have a really good day.
I mean, I don't think they're as far apart. I don't know.
I don't know.
I
Toronto
don't
just
think
seems
they're
like
that-
Toronto
This
just
is a
seems like
fundamental team. I really, really like
Yeah.
Toronto, how they play.
That's
I'm a
exactly
big fan.
right. But LAG, all the players know the fundamental COD.
Oh, for
And
sure, for sure.
Assault has been playing pretty good.
He looked good today.
He looked really good.
Mhm.
Yeah,
That's a weird one, man.
it's tough. I'm gonna stick with my Toronto 3-2 though.
That's a weird.
Then we got
match.
Seattle versus New York. Very fun one. One of the
This
most
is-
fun ones of the
it's actually
weekend.
pretty cool. Wow.
Do you believe in 244 hertz style or gunless? This is the only match of the weekend. Well, the only match of this weekend.
It's so
Yeah.
hard.
Second
Like
half.
we've
Yeah.
barely seen New York play, other than like the 0-3 against Thieves, but they played really like it literally could have gone the other way.
Right.
It was so
Mhm.
close.
We'll see him tomorrow against London.
Yeah.
And Seattle, we haven't seen 244 hertz gunless play except for like once.
Mm-hmm.
I know, but the problem is by the time this match happens, we will have seen Seattle versus the Rokkr, and we'll have seen Seattle versus LA Thieves.
Right, so that could change everything.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? I said I would never bet against Clayster on these types of situations again, and I'm not gonna do it now.
Oh wow, really?
I was literally about to type in Seattle, but you know what? I just had an awakening moment here.
Oh, no pun intended.
And I'm going New York 3-2-1.
What? No.
Really?
3-2. They're going to have to win the S&D, right?
Hey, man, bold play calls got to be called at some times, and I mean,
give me the narrative. Give me the narrative. I need the narrative.
New York is going to, like, here's the thing. We saw that LA Thieves matchup. I'm starting to be really, really convinced that LA Thieves is, like, the real deal. They could be contending for a championship. They're heading down that route, it feels like to me. And New York, it literally could have gone New York's way, and they would have won that series. And they were kind of just, like, it feels like a little bit kind of free balling it in a way, but they still played really well.
Yeah.
So I feel like now they have practice. They're playing 3v4 against
free ball
LA
ballers.
Thieves. They're playing 3v4 basically against LA Thieves. Mac is now going to show up. Asim will be there showing up. Diamond will be showing up. They do not plan on losing this, especially since they just had to play Dallas. Like, I really think this could be, New York has to win this. They have to win this.
Yeah. Seattle 3-2. Seattle 3-1.
3-1. Really?
It's just because I think if it goes to game 5, I actually give the edge to New York. I think Seattle has the advantage in hard points, and right now controls a toss up, a full on toss up. I would lean Seattle, and then S&D. So far, I mean, Seattle's looked pretty good in S&D. So I mean, this could be a 3-0, but I'm gonna go 3-1. But again, this is a tough one. This could go either way, but definitely not one I feel as strongly about. But from what we've seen from Seattle in the second half, I mean, obviously, originally once they got to the 244 hertz, they look pretty decent.
Here's the thing. What if I think we're going to see a Mac that's been kind of broken down a little bit by Clay and brought back up?
I mean, it's very possible.
You know what I mean? I'm going to go New York 3-2 here.
Wow.
Sam, you are my lover.
Bro.
I love you.
Forever.
I thought I was going to be alone on this one.
No.
Wow.
What? Here's my thing is when I saw New York play LA Thieves.
Does a 3-2 against London really inspire that much confidence? Or I'm sorry, getting 3-0 by LA Thieves really inspire that much confidence?
It did. And the reason is because they looked like
it was 3v4.
Well, like that, and like they were playing so close, and they were making so many mistakes.
Yeah.
And they were still that close.
I get that.
You add Clayster does have this magical Clay.
We're just gonna go the magic bean argument here.
I'm not. I don't want to go completely the magical. Looking at his past, Clay has a natural ability to bring the youngins up, man, man. Oh my gosh. It's a combo of that and also Seattle. I don't have a lot of confidence yet in Seattle as of right now.
I mean, that's what I was going to say is the 3-2 versus London didn't inspire your confidence in Seattle.
I know the 240 hertz gunless could be a monster, but
that's my only issue is gunless shows up.
But like Looney has just not been it for me.
Right. I get that.
Persini, he's been doing his job.
I mean, yeah. So far, what we've seen is Seattle got 3-0 by Dallas. They beat London 3-2, but again, London could be a bottom 2 team right now.
Yeah.
So that's what's tough for me. I mean, again, it's tough to predict matches this far in the weekend when we're going to see Seattle versus Rokkr. We're going to see Seattle versus LA Thieves. We're going to see New York versus London. We're going to see New York versus Rokkr. So we will have seen them both play the Rokkr at this point. So by the time this matchup happens, we'll have a pretty good feel, at least for both these teams now. Right now, it's tough.
It's hard.
So it is tough for us right now. And that's why we're going off the rails and just having a good time with this, because we made it last with fun.
Yeah.
So I will go. Like I said, Seattle 3-2 is my go-to, and Sam, yours is officially New York 3-2.
Officially New York 3-2.
Seattle 3-1. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
All right, last two. Florida versus Chicago.
Woo.
I feel like we all believe in Chicago, right?
Yeah. More than Florida. Yeah.
The question is 3-1, 3-2, 3-0.
I said 3-1. Florida takes that
Strong in the
S&D.
force. 3-1.
Florida takes S&D.
I mean, that's a pretty safe bet.
I'm also doing Chicago 3-1.
Safe bet.
Hmm.
I feel like Chicago has to choke this pretty hard.
I mean, Chicago 3-1 is by far the most likely outcome.
Yeah.
But that feels so lame for me to pick now that you both picked it. But it's either Chicago 3-0 or Chicago 3-1. And I'll go Chicago 3-1 as well because I'm lame AF. And I'll take the same one as you guys. But yeah, I mean, I could see OpTic bouncing back though with the S&Ds. I mean, think about. I mean, again, they just said they just didn't execute their game plan at all.
They just
It's
got their butts whooped.
Something collapsed there. I could see it back, turning around again for them. But it's going to be a tough spot. Florida, I really, really like this squad a lot, but I don't know.
Mm-hmm. I think Neptune's got some growing to do.
Yeah. And like seeing Slack dominate in that control match was really, really exciting for me.
Cool.
But like turning back the clock on him, but I just don't know if it's going to play out. That's the question. Again, we're going to see so much more of these teams before these matchups. It's just tough to predict. So, LA Thieves as well then versus Dallas.
This is a tough one for me. I'm going to be honest.
Really?
Man, Rex is.
I think Dallas.
How have the Dallas fallen in Rex's mind?
I think Dallas is just going to come back and just destroy. They're angry. They're mad.
Oh!
They're definitely mad.
Pissed.
They're. Yeah.
Horny. For me.
Did you? Okay. Yep. That's what I thought you said.
Yeah.
I think this is a Dallas. Ooh, I kind of wanted to say 3-0.
Whoa, spicy.
The spicy meatball.
You should say it.
Should I?
Good. Good, Anakin.
Good, Anakin.
Yes.
I think this is gonna be. I'm going 3-1. I'm gonna be boring. I'm sorry.
Oh my word. Let me be boring.
Fine. Dallas 3-0.
Oh!
I'm doing it. You got me hyped.
If you believe 3-1, you go for it.
There is a world where Dallas just comes out. TJ falters, and it's a 3-0.
Oh, I mean,
unless they lose again. What if they lose again? What happens?
That would be crazy. I mean, again, this matchup sets up for a lot here. I mean, if Thieves beat Dallas, they'll be 3-0 or what at this point undefeated.
That's true. Well,
depending on what happens earlier in the week or earlier.
Yeah.
Because LA Thieves plays Seattle and then they play London. So very possible.
Yeah.
This match would decide the winner of the group.
Yes.
If Dallas is undefeated, if Dallas hasn't lost since they lost to the Rokkr.
Mm-hmm.
Or if the Rokkr, maybe not. Because it kind of depends what happens with the Rokkr. But yeah, that's actually really interesting. What if we get to a point where it's like a trifecta, where where Dallas beat Thieves, Thieves beat Rokkr, and Rokkr beat Dallas, and they're all at the top, tied like 5-1 or whatever.
That'd be weird, dude.
4-1.
Mm-hmm.
That could happen.
It'd be kind of fun to see that.
I'm not sure what the tiebreakers are at that point. Map count, I guess.
Map count.
Overall map count or map count versus your opponents. I have to go check that out. I'm not sure.
Good point.
Okay, overall, anyway, Rex, fire away. Thoughts here?
I'm going to go with a Dallas 3-2, actually, on this one.
I hope so. That would be
sick.
I think when it comes to the S&Ds, Empire are going to have the advantage. But LA Thieves, like I was saying, I am more up on them now than I think I've ever been up on this squad before.
Even when they almost lost
they're getting you going.
New York?
Yeah, I mean, right, they almost lost in New York, but it also tells me how much I think of New York. So I think it's gonna be Dallas 3-2. I think it could end up being a nail biter. I don't know.
Okay,
it's a tough one, but I see LA Thieves has more power. I'm really prepared to start giving them that credit.
I got that power. Yeah, no, I'm going to go Dallas 3-1. 3-1. New York could definitely snag the S&D. I mean, they could snag any of those games. This could go 3-2. LA Thieves could snag it. But at the end of the day, it's like I have so much faith in this Dallas team to clutch up when it matters. And I'm definitely not there yet with the Thieves. Not in a match like this, especially when it could be potentially for the group. And yeah, I'm going to go Dallas 3-1. But all of the game modes are pretty tight right now. So it is a tough narrative, especially with the Rokkr X Factor. But we'll see. We'll see. That's going to be a fun one, man. I'm really, really looking forward to that. We got some fun matches to end the weekend. It's weird how they reorganized all of them.
It is.
A little snaky of them.
They were a sneaky little snake.
Sneaky snake.
Me and Sam have the exact same teams winning.
Let's go because we are the better humans.
Small brain.
It's going to be all green next week.
All green.
You should go parlay all of them together.
Now, should we pick one that we think could be an upset? That's going to be the changed one?
I want to have like a little fun drop for this at the end of podcast when we do like or what we should do, honestly, we should have, I know this is straight copying from the fantasy footballers, but they do an almost upset of the week every week. That'd be kind of fun. If we had like an almost upset of each week where the most likely upset of the week or something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. What's yours?
Mine?
Yeah, Rex, fire away.
I mean, is Seattle, New York an upset one?
Not really.
So, I mean, I would say, Florida, Chicago, right?
That'd be wild.
Florida, Chicago is like my upset one. Like, Florida will be the one that actually ends up winning and beats them on the S&Ds. And takes one of the hard points or controls.
LAG versus Toronto.
That's a good one, too.
Yeah.
I have it going 3-2, but I think it's gonna be a pretty like solid 3-2 victory for Toronto. That'd be pretty crazy in my head if LAG won that series, even though I have it in a 3-2, which is ironic. Man, yeah. I mean, obviously, I think I'd have to say LA Thieves versus Dallas then.
Yeah,
but that seems kind of obvious because I chose a 3-2. But
that would still be
it'd be big.
It'd be an upset. Oh yeah, if they lost at Thieves.
Oh, it'd be huge news.
Huge news.
That'd be crazy. So I'll go that. Yeah, I mean, I feel pretty confident about Atlanta versus Florida. I feel pretty confident about Chicago versus Florida as well. But Chicago feels more likely to get upset than Atlanta does at this point. So
that's true.
Yeah, as a whole, that's about it for today. Obviously, we got one final official segment, which we can go check the poll results of right now.
Can I? Or
I'll do it.
Am I going to get yelled at again?
But we got our official. Last week we kind of did it, but this is our official launch of the new segment called Intelligent or Irrelevant.
Ooh.
Let's play the drop.
Flames.
The ability to speak does not make you intelligent.
Amen.
Wow.
The ability to speak does not make you intelligent.
Nice.
And boys and girls, we asked tonight, who you guys got? Subliners or Surge in the match upcoming? And you guys chose, drum roll, what do you guys think?
New York.
Surge.
I think they chose Surge.
If they chose New York, it'd probably be off WESTR, but
Yeah.
I'm going to say Surge.
I think we have some Clayster fans.
Okay, so it's New York. People chose New York.
They chose New York. Wow.
Let's go.
63.6% of people so far have chosen New York.
Wow.
36.4% of people have chosen the Surge.
Nice.
That's pretty crazy. So y'all are going wild.
If I'm being honest, though, I think
is that
New York
intelligent
is the underdog.
or irrelevant?
That's intelligent.
That's intelligent.
That's straight up intelligent, bro.
Yeah.
You can't say that's irrelevant. Like it's a close game, probably. You can't say New York is irrelevant. You cannot.
I mean,
Get out of
I
here.
chose Seattle 3-1.
Yeah, because
So
you're
that's irrelevant, baby. Irrelevant.
Cancel Salvation.
It's not irrelevant.
No.
It's not irrelevant. I do think New York is probably the
64%
underdog
of you
coming
people
in.
are dumb. Let's
Whoa. Clip that. Jeez.
dumb. I'm wearing a
Oh my word. Just like clip a sequence of that and just look how dumb that is. As he's wearing a
Imagine
Subliners.
Seattle wins 3-0.
64% of you.
Seattle won 3-0.
That'd be really funny. Now clip that. Seattle wins 3-0.
Wow.
Yeah, that's actually crazy. Sam effed up and post one before and looked at the results.
And then I got
What was the one before?
I got yelled at. It really threw me off of my game.
What was the one before? London? and
Yeah,
who?
London versus Subliners. So we had another Subliners one. Subliners
Who won?
won. Oh my word, Subliners 70.3% over London. So people are high on the old Subliners.
Oh.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Wow. Dang.
Huh.
So last conversation of the week. What are you guys watching this week? What's on your mind besides a lot of freaking Call of Duty? Still going to Game of Thrones, huh?
I mean, Game of Thrones. I just started The Last Kingdom.
Dude, it's so good.
Is it?
I've only watched the first episode, so that's it.
Oh,
so
see,
far.
dude, I'm
Okay.
telling you, I don't know if you how have you liked it so far? Because the first episode,
I like it a lot.
okay, dope. Because I think that like the first 3 episodes are kind of like they're just getting you involved, and then like it starts, you buckle in, you know. So
Right.
I
Good.
think you get like
Good.
episode 3 or 4, and you start really rolling. And the Last Kingdom is top 3 favorite shows.
Really? Wow. Okay.
I mean, some people call it like, you know, a wannabe Game of Thrones, but like, it's like, you know, more, it's based in history. And I really like that about, you know,
That's what I like too, because like the way they fight and battle in it, it seems like more realistic.
yeah.
Like it's a lot like clunkier, which makes sense. Like it's like you can't just like do all this crazy spinning attacks.
Right. So I really like how it's grounded in like legit like English history, and it's really cool. So I'm a big fan of The Last Kingdom. Sam, what are you watching?
I have recently developed a fascination for cranes. And so I've
Like
been...
the animal or the machine?
Machine cranes. And so I recently watched a documentary on cranes and how they're
Really?
made. Yeah.
What did you watch this?
YouTube.
Really?
Yeah. I think it was called like Extreme Engineering.
That is so random. Wait, how did this happen? Was
I
it a
don't
YouTube
know.
algorithm?
No, I like one day I was like, you know, like those like
Insane construction
high story cranes
Yeah.
where it's like they have to climb like 20 minutes to get to their destination.
Is there an elevator? Do they actually climb
They
it?
climb.
That's so dumb.
They climb and then like they're in that cab for 10 to 12 hours.
Jeez. That's
Yeah,
crazy.
That's wild.
That's crazy.
And just like the engineering of like not falling over.
Yeah, that is pretty crazy. I mean, because like the amount, like the logic doesn't really make that much
No.
sense.
It's like it's like just one pole, but then like you're lifting thousands of pounds on this side.
Yeah.
It should tip over. It doesn't.
That's crazy.
So, yeah.
I mean, that's wild, bro. That's
Yeah.
wild. I'm watching WandaVision season finales this week. That's pretty lit. Besides that, I was thinking about starting Westworld.
Dude, I want to watch Westworld too. I haven't started it, but I heard it's like the secondary Game of Thrones.
I mean, HBO's second best show is what I
Lots of
always
Game
hear.
of Thrones.
You know.
Mhm.
So we'll see. I don't know. That was pretty interesting. But yeah. Besides that, nothing too else. A lot of NBA. I'm watching. Just a lot of NBA.
Wonder why.
Speaking of good YouTube channels, like Ant Canada, it's like about his ant farms and stuff like that. And
What?
he's just all about ant farms and like he knows everything about ants and he like just goes up close and you could start from like the beginning of like a certain like colony of ants.
Does he have
where
like an
just
insane
gets the-
lens? Like-
Yeah, well, yeah, he has an insane lens and like he tells you everything. So like I watched the fire colony. So you start out with just a queen and then eggs that she hatched in like this tiny little vial. And then you just see it growing in each video and like he'll move them to bigger and bigger terrariums.
That kind of scares
And
me.
like the end terrarium, when it's like a huge colony, is like this souped up, like decked out ant terrarium with like a little waterfall in it and all this crazy stuff. And he like tells the story of it.
That's so.
It's really
How did
cool.
you come across this? How did you come across this?
Hello.
Hello.
Oh.
There we go.
How'd you come
Back.
across this?
I don't know. I found it on YouTube one day.
That
It
is
just
so
came across in the algorithm.
YouTube knows us better than we know ourselves.
Very true.
It was so
It's scary,
cool, though.
man. It's really, really scary. So with that said, I think we can end the podcast there. Honestly, it ended up going longer than I thought it
Yeah.
would. We kind of
Hey,
we were able to drag this one out.
it was a fun one.
We felt so liberated with so much time today. We just
Yeah.
dragged it out and had a good
We
time.
can do whatever we want.
We can do whatever.
Just do whatever.
No one's here anyway. No one's here. Sam, why are you naked?
Whoa, dude.
Wow.
This doesn't matter.
Hey.
Nothing matters. No one's even here anymore. They're watching Call of Duty. So I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of the podcast. If you guys did, like, comment, subscribe. You know, drop a review on Apple Podcasts if you guys really enjoyed it. We really do appreciate it. Drop your comments down below, your crazy predictions, your reactions to the games that are going on currently, and tweet us, best3pod on Twitter. And then, you know, as always, I'm Josh, SalvationsElite. To my right is Bash_Bo3. To our farthest right is Rex, ShadyNero. Shout out to everybody participating in the Draft Buff, you know, Royale and the Listener League. And
Super
guys,
fun.
we will see you next time. We out.